Let's talk about Jacob Markstrom now, because that was the big news of the recent days for the Devils. The extension to Jacob Markstrom has come in. It is at $6 million AAV for 2 more seasons through 2027-28. This gives the Devils a number one goaltender for an extended period of time. I recently said that, given the way he started the season and the way Jake Allen did, maybe they didn't have to make this decision right away, but Tom Fitzgerald disagreed. And while it's only 2 years, it's still for $6 million. I think, maybe more expensive than some folks would have liked, but the fact that it's not super long term, I think makes a lot of sense for the Devils right now.
We both were expecting like a longer term deal, kind of like Jake Allen, and where the money was spread over the time. And I think that's kind of what they were looking for. I think Markstrom's camp, that's exactly what they wanted to do, but Tom Fitzgerald was kind of, inclined to keep it at that two-year term. And I think that kind of sets the Devils up in a spot where, Mikhail Yurgorov is going to play, at BU this year, right? He's going to play at BU next year, most likely. That's what we expect. And then in the final year of Jacob Markstrom's deal, Big Mike's going to be in Utica for 1 year, right? Does that set them up where Big Mike comes up in 2028, 29 to play with Jake Allen? Maybe that might be just a bit too early, but I think the timelines are kind of aligning each other, where once Jacob Markstrom finally, his time is done in New Jersey, that's when Big Mike is going to make his emergence with the big club. So I'm cool with it. I think, he's still got a lot to give. I think he showed it in that Kings game. I think it's just about getting healthy for him. I think, as you brought up multiple times, being a bigger goalie, his knees are starting to go a bit. But he showed he's capable of playing still. So I'm fine with it for 2 years. Him and Mark, I don't think there's a clear starter. I think if you have to pick one, like in a playoff game, once you get there, I think it is Jacob Markstrom still. But I think in the regular season, I think these two are going to go back and forth.
Yeah, honestly, with how good Allen's been, I understand, not the best game against Anaheim. I think that's a good position to be in, where you have Markstrom now. You've given the confidence of an extension to, you stuck with him in that ugly loss to Colorado. You believed in him. You said, we're not going to pull you in your first game back from injury. And even though the fans kind of jumped all over that, I have to admit I was overly critical of his start to the season as well. But for him to come back and have that game against the Kings, like you mentioned, I think this is a good situation where you have two goaltenders who are capable of being starters, pushing each other.